All right, let's talk Nebraska Cornhuskers. We are in the middle of fall practice, getting ready for the 2025 campaign, and the expectations are building for this Huskers program. A lot of young guys stepping up, new guys emerging. We're seeing some veterans, of course, taking big leaps as coaching staff. Big year for them as well. Big year for the entire program. And to that end, there's one freshman in particular that's starting to emerge to be a key supporting piece. Not necessarily a day one superstar, but a guy who will contribute in a massive way to this Huskers team. We'll get to all that in just 1 second. But first, I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. Are the Nebraska Cornhuskers? They're a young team, but they also feel like they've got a good amount of leadership, those young players. Of course, you look at Dylan Raiola, Matt Rule, the head coach at the top of the entire organization. They feel up and coming, but they also have a good level of maturity to them. And when you have that level of maturity, and a lot of that comes from a veteran coaching staff that's grown up, experienced, been there before, you can have young guys step up, some freshman guys step up that where they don't need to be superstars day one, but they can fill key roles on the team. And there's one freshman in particular that's emerging to be a key role player, mainly on defense and also heavily on special teams. Let's get into this handful of articles here, then we'll get into some data on the other side. This first article is courtesy of Husker Big Red. Heading into the 2025 season, Nebraska football has a great blend of talent and experience, like I just mentioned. The Huskers signed 20 recruits in the 2025 class. 12 of them were ranked as blue chip prospects. We didn't know that punter Archie Wilson would be part of the 2025 class, but he is a freshman. He's also going to be a starter and a weapon, according to special teams coach Mike Eckler. There are a few freshmen who could see the field this season for the Huskers, a couple on offense, a couple on defense, plus at least one on special teams, although Wilson won't be the only freshman on special teams. However, in terms of impactful freshmen, here are the top 5 for the Huskers in 2025. And one name that has come up a lot is this guy, Dawson Merritt. The 6'3", 225-pound linebacker has generated plenty of positive buzz during fall camp, probably more than any other freshman defender. There's been a lot of excitement. We'll get to some reporting, but it's been a lot of different reports, good corroborating evidence, teammates, coaches, media. A lot of people are excited about what Merritt is doing. I fully expect him to be on the field and on special teams almost right away. Eckler said he prefers to play younger players in the kicking game if possible. Merritt will make that possible. He had 141 tackles over the past 2 seasons in high school, plus 14 sacks and 28 tackles for loss. He was obviously a big-time recruit. The next article here was courtesy of the Hastings Tribune, talking about Merritt and some other guys in particular. Defensive coordinator John Butler said Nebraska is running 3 deep at all 3 positions, talking about the defensive layers, with a lot of, the 3 linebacking position, with a lot of young guys showing they could be capable of contributing throughout the season. They are developing. I think they're good, Butler said. They are young and getting better. We have a lot of young players who have juice, energy, play physical, and are getting a lot of reps. The Big Red preview gave a glimpse of how each unit is shaping up so far. At Jack linebacker, McCullough ran out with the first-team defense, while Willis McGahee IV and Jordan Ochoa also impressed a week of practices, according to Butler. Javin Wright and Marquez Watson-Trent were the other 2 starting linebackers, while Vincent Shavers, Jacob Bauer, Gage Stinger, and Dawson Merritt, again, his name comes up there, also look like they will be involved at some point this fall. Focusing on Merritt, a 4-star freshman, has especially caught Butler's eye as a growing player after missing spring camp due to a shoulder injury. He has made strides over the past couple days that have excited us, Butler said. He was a highly recruited player, for all the right reasons, and he's starting to get more comfortable in the system. Obviously, he was a big-time recruit. We'll get to that report right now. This is courtesy of NBC Sports, talking about the signing of Merritt, bringing him into the fold. The report highlighted versatility is the name of the game for Merritt. He's exactly the type of potential defensive chess piece that defensive coordinator Tony White, no longer defensive coordinator, of course, now it's Butler, who loves to coach. The Kansas native has the arm length, bend, and quickness that can make him a good pass rusher. There are moments he flashed that ability when I saw him play in person this season, but Merritt has a frame 6'3", 200 that will likely be able to hold 20 to 30 more pounds. Strength coach Corey Campbell will want to put some additional muscle mass on him before he hits the field in Lincoln. If that happens, Merritt could also be a player that plays some off-ball linebacker in the way that John Bullock currently plays for the team. So he was a bigger recruit, 4-star guy, one of those blue chip guys. Nebraska was able to flip him, obviously a big-time win, celebrated at the time, and now we're seeing the rewards being reaped by the Nebraska coaching staff by the emergence of Merritt as a key freshman contributor. one of the things that can happen when you flip a guy or get a big time recruit or something like that, a 4-star, 5-star, 3-star, whatever it may be, depending on where your program is that it's you win the headlines, you win the media that day, but the player actually has to contribute and be good, right? It's if you win a 4-star, if you flip a 4-star kid and he shows up and he's just not performing or he has issues or whatever, and he ends up playing like a 2-star, not much of a win, right? You didn't make it count. You spent a lot of time and effort flipping a 4-star and he turns out really being a 2-star. That's actually almost a loss for you, not a gain, a big significant loss. Merritt is the exact opposite, right? He was a 4-star flip that is playing just like a 4-star, who's going to be a contributor very early on. I agree 100% with the reporting. Special teams, immediate contributor in the kicking game. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities at linebacker early and often for Nebraska, because if you look at Nebraska's schedule, which we'll get to more in a second, it's a lighter load in the early parts of the season. I think that will allow Merritt and a lot of other guys to get some quality reps in live competition to prepare them for their 4-game gauntlet at the end of the 2025 campaign. I think Merritt is definitely a guy to look forward to making a lot of plays for this Nebraska defense, because frankly, they need a little bit more help in the front seven than people realize. Let's go into this chart here. This is courtesy of Pro Football Focus, so that people can see this. This is ranking the run defense in the Big Ten, just the top 11. I cut the screen off here, and you can see Nebraska is 11th in run defense. And you can go up the chart here, run defense on the far right there. You can see there's Nebraska, Northwestern, Maryland, right? The bottom 3 guys, 11, 10, 9. Not a good group to be in, right? Nothing against Maryland, Northwestern, not exactly winning championships. And as you get to the top and work your way up, you go Oregon, pretty good. Penn State, pretty good. Indiana, Ohio State, obviously. Michigan, pretty good, right? These are the programs you want to be with if you're Nebraska. You want to go back to being that great run defending team. It's defensive line. It's also linebackers. I think the emergence of a guy like Merritt, a 4-star flip, playing like a 4-star, I think he can contribute to improve this run defense game for Nebraska, both in the short term and the long term. And like we always like to say on this channel, A players want to play with other A players. As Merritt gets playing time and does some good things, other potential recruits will see that and they will want to be gravitated toward Nebraska as well. This is a critical freshman emerging, kind of an under the radar guy. Obviously, it's not nearly the buzz as a guy like Raiola, for example, but I think he'll be critically important for Nebraska, not just this season, but for the future as well. All right, we'll get to more with Nebraska and Merritt here in just a second, but first, Huskers fans, in the comment section below, we're talking linebackers, of course, so let us know your opinion. Who is the greatest linebacker in Nebraska history? There is a lot of interesting ways you can go with this, right? I could think some recent term guys, I can think some really old school guys, and maybe a little bit in between, but you can only pick one. Your opinion right now, who is the greatest linebacker in Nebraska Cornhuskers history? Let us know in the comment section below. And when it comes to Merritt and how he can help out this team, when we talk about special teams, I'm going to go full screen for a minute so you guys can see exactly where special teams is a big area of need for Nebraska. So this is the special team grades. You can see that on the far right is the special team. Minnesota actually finished with the best special teams grade, 90.4. And as you work your way down, there's a lot of good teams at the top. You can see Nebraska then near the bottom, 68.0 special teams grade. Merritt's a guy with his immediate playmaking ability, can improve that special teams grade up to a higher level. Now, me personally, I feel like you don't have to get all the way up to 90, right, or 88 or something. You just need to be better than 68. 68's a D plus, right? Let's get up to that 80 range. I think we see like an Oregon or where a Michigan is. I think that's a good spot for Nebraska. Obviously, if you're going to be better, you'll take it, but you need to get up to that range to contend. Where Illinois, Michigan, Oregon is on this chart right there. I think Merritt's a guy that can come in and certainly help out that part of this unit of this team immediately. And when you look at a guy like Merritt, as we go back to it so you guys can just see me now, I think that he's a guy that when you have a big time recruit, a big flip, contributing early, new defensive coordinator, a lot of questions about what's going to happen on that side of the ball, him stepping up and making a statement early for Nebraska is pivotal. Because I don't know if anyone heard or not, but Joel Klatt, of course, the Fox Sports analyst, he's been very high on Nebraska recently, saying they got a chance to make the playoff. His one question is, what's going to happen on defense? A little instability there, new defensive coordinator, a few questions, like how good are they going to be exactly? Are they going to be good enough? Especially with an early part of the season, a schedule that's very favorable. If they're going to be a playoff team, a deep contending kind of team, they need to be 7-1 through 8 games or better. 7-1, 8-0, right? If you look at their schedule, and I'll pull it up right in front of me, I'll just go down the list here for anyone who's not familiar. Cincinnati, Akron, Houston Christian, Michigan, Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota, and then Northwestern, right? Again, maybe at home against Michigan is the only loss there. Maybe Michigan with a freshman quarterback, most likely Bryce Underwood. I think that's a chance for Nebraska to win that game. There's a 7-1, I think, has to be the expectation, be a top 10, top 15 team as you get USC at home, at UCLA, then at Penn State. That's tough, of course, and then home against Iowa. I mean, 10-2 gets you in the postseason, 9-3 probably just on the outside. But if you look at their schedule, the opportunities are there. They just need to have young guys ready to step up for that gauntlet at the end, that 4-game gauntlet, USC, UCLA, and more importantly, that 2-game gauntlet at the end, Penn State, Iowa. I think Clad's questions and concerns are valid, but they can be answered if they have young guys step up, if their new defensive coordinator, the promoted Butler, can do a really good job, if guys like Merritt can be ready to contribute day one for Nebraska defensively and on special teams. Look, it's not going to be perfect, but if you look at their schedule, and just to rehash some of their early opponents, Akron and Houston Christian in back-to-back weeks, September 6th, September 13th, you talk about a great proving ground. You talk about getting these guys some reps before you get Michigan at home. I love the timing of the schedule. It's one of these weird circumstances where Nebraska's schedule works out incredibly well in terms of when they play people and the players they have and the guys are going to need to be ready. Now, look, Merritt's not going to make or break their season. I'm not saying he's like that critical. But when you're looking at a Nebraska team that's trying to overcome losing close games and take that next step, every snap counts. Honestly, if you look at Nebraska last season, you look at their results, there in a lot of games that they ended up losing, they were 1 third down stop or 1 fourth down stop or 1 special teams play or 1 special teams not blunder away for it being completely different games and then a completely different season. If a guy like Merritt can step up, a high-quality prospect, a high-quality recruit, and fix that problem, you get 1 more third down stop, right? You get a stop on 4th down. You make a big play on special teams, force a fumble, whatever it may be. That can be the difference over the course of a season in those close games where Nebraska has struggled over the past 10, 15 years. Turn those losses into victories, and you turn a 7-8 win team into a 9-10 win team that's heading to the postseason. It is a lot closer than people think. You look across the Big Ten and the SEC, the two legitimately real contending schools, there's a lot of close games that go completely different directions entire seasons. Programs like South Carolina, Ole Miss, LSU last year in the SEC missed out on the postseason because of narrow, close, just agonizing defeats, while other programs were able to sneak in because they won those close games. Nebraska is going to need guys like Merritt to help them over the top, win those close games. We all understand Raiola, the season's going to go as him and the offense is going to go. They're the priority, 80% on him. But when it comes to those big moments, big games, big opportunities, it's going to take other guys like this young linebacker stepping up, filling the gaps, and helping push Nebraska over the top.